Hey guys. Welcome back to another episode of Highly Melanated Podcast. The safe space where it's okay to start out on the wrong key.
Wow.
Must you like fire
Wow.
shot like in the first sentence?
You have to
It really wasn't originally what I was going to say, but it
can
just came
we
out.
not? You know what? This is just like Black folks to on the blackest month of the year when we're
And
supposed to be coming together.
we
I
are.
was I was about to say coming together in harmony, and I realized what a pun that would have been.
You didn't see me. I was like, say it, say it.
When
Set it
we're
up.
supposed to be coming together as a collective and building each other up, you decide to do the opposites.
Well,
Anyway.
collectively, the entire nation was looking at that TV like, But anyway, PJ is in his drop top at 7 o'clock on the dot.
Red is sitting here. You making me wanna after this
And
past weekend.
Blair is definitely calling USHERRAYMOND so I can tell him what I want to do to him.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want you guys to realize what you can't see is that she literally signed it. Like she
First
did
of
it herself.
all, let me tell you about that. Thank you, and I did it with my
it's
left
a
hand
thing.
too. Thank you. Did
Yeah.
it with my left hand. Because here's the thing, and this is why Usher and I will forever have a cosmic connection with each other. That song
Interesting.
came out. I'm sorry, the music video for that song came out either sometime around when I was taking sign language lessons. I was a young girl. I was a girl of about 12 or 13. And I was taking sign language lessons. And this nigga signed his name in the music video. And I said, oh my God. He said USHERRAYMOND. And I knew exactly what he was signing, even though he was saying it as he was signing it. But I recognized that he was doing sign language. And I was like, oh my God, we're meant to be. So
Now she walks around just signing
Origin stories.
yep.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are joined. We have a very, very special guest, the first guest of 2024. Lakiah. Who you be, girl?
Yes. And
I love
Lakiah, if I'm doing this the right way, Lakiah is just gonna sit here and say, yeah, 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 yeah.
I know you better just go right into it.
That's what I'm
Okay.
talking about.
So, hello everybody who's listening. My name is Lakiah. I am a psychotherapist. I am a Black woman, and I am introverted actually, and I read smut for fun.
Come on,
Oh,
smut.
I'm already loving it already. You are part
Yes.
of the melanated family. Welcome
Now, when
to the
you
team.
say smut, like what level of smut are we talking? Are we talking
Ooh.
E.L. James, 50 Shades, or are we talking Zane?
Did I read the 50 Shades? I don't know. I read a whole, it's on a spectrum, but I I got started with Zane when I probably was too young, but
Didn't we all?
I think everybody.
Didn't we all?
like passing around the books in high school, like it's you know.
Oh,
Yeah, so I
okay.
do. I also have a whole story time that's dedicated on TikTok. Follow me at IMPJ Ryan. You'll see
Love.
little bits of those um, here and there on my Instagram. While we're plugging, you make sure you all follow Acting Regent. Also, make sure you follow JBT Dub. And
Ow.
also, you want to give yours right now?
Follow Selfcare Blogic.
Oh, that's right.
So it's just a play on words, y'all. So self-care, and then I have a blog, so that's why it's blog. But I was like, okay, there's
I
blog
see
and
it.
logic. Let me see how I can put this together. That's how to name it.
I like it. I like it a lot.
And you did, and you put it together. Excellent work. This past Sunday was Super Bowl Sunday, and if you know me, you know I was very much looking forward to it because it's football and I love football. But the game itself was very uninteresting until
Dragged
like
out.
the end
Dragged
of the
out.
third quarter. Like it didn't start getting interesting until then. And to that point, I spent the first 2 quarters of the game doing my taxes. That's how
Well,
that's how
damn.
unengaged I was during the game. But I will say that the first points of the game were scored by University of Michigan alumni. Just
All
putting that
hail.
out there.
All hail to Victor's Valiant. Go ahead, continue.
Thank you. Yes, indeed. And
Well,
that's how my week is going.
my week has been
Interesting.
going pretty good so far. I started the process to get my passport renewed, so I feel like a full adult now. I did that today. Actually got to see Blair at the last bit of the game, and I have in my possession my light skin T'Challa. So I'm excited. But other than that, the week has been good so far. No big things. Just
Nope.
here and ready for whatever this week is gonna give.
It seems
Some
like-
people want it all.
Why? Why
Don't,
would you? Why would you
don't.
double
All right,
down?
all right.
Why
right,
would you double
well,
down? You already did it once. You gotta.
You
gotta.
just at
Oh,
this
it's
point,
good. We're gonna
I
do
think you're
this.
personally attacking her.
Mind you, when I walked in the door and I say Alexa, I said, "Hey Siri, play music." She played Alicia Keys.
Siri knows.
Siri's a messy bitch.
Ain't she though?
Siri just stirring that pot. Question of the week. Your questions as they pertain to you prospectively and introspectively. Why are there so many damn haters?
So many damn what?
Haters.
You know?
Oh.
Do you know why?
Well, wait. And I want to tell you why I'm asking that, because there were so many people, and I think we kind of touched on this like maybe a couple of weeks ago with just people and like them not like liking stuff and like being like super critical. I'm like reading through different blogs, Facebook, Instagram, and there was a bunch of people that did not like the Usher concert.
The Usher
The
concert
Usher
or the
the
Super
Usher.
Bowl performance?
I say it like that because I enjoyed it, but the Super Bowl performance. How did y'all feel about the Super Bowl performance?
I loved it. I thought he was amazing.
So as I said, here's the reason why there are so many haters. Because some people want it all.
Including someone that's right now.
No. Okay. So fun fact:
What y'all not gonna do is continue to play Alicia Keys
because you know why? Because it doesn't exist anymore. Because
guess what? She's singing at the Super Bowl and we are not.
But no,
I was about to say.
But listen. Fun fact: if you go watch it now, it doesn't exist. It's cleaned up. If you look at it on YouTube, you gotta like.
When you got money, you can rewrite the past.
They wrote that shit so quick. She
Yeah, it was just like Beyonce when she first did the Super Bowl, like she paid to get some pictures like removed from the internet, I think.
Hey,
You know,
look,
people
when
still get it, but still, like it'll still
you
be out
got
there.
money, you can rewrite history.
Lakiah, you are now officially my favorite because it was you who brought Beyonce here, not me.
Also, let me just point out the fact
making her
that
way.
he did come over to my house yesterday. He had on his Beyonce merch and made a whole show of taking it off and showing it off and whatnot. Just like to point that out. That's all.
But
wait, so what were people saying
yesterday? But I am a longtime Beehive member. I can't lie.
So what were people saying that they did not like about the performance?
So people were saying a bunch of different things. They were saying stuff like, he just really didn't perform the way that I thought he would. And which is funny. I think they're looking at him to perform the way that he did when he was younger. This man is now 45 years old. And my question to that same gentleman is like, well, what are you doing? Why don't you get up there and go dance for 15 minutes while singing in relatively cooler weather?
I'm still just confused as to what it was that these people are expecting that they didn't get.
I don't know. I don't know.
This nigga's saying 100 songs.
I'll say
100 songs. He did a less than, somebody timed it too. He did a less than 50-second outfit change and put on roller skates. Can you do that in under a minute?
No, but that's not even a question to ask them. And we talk about this all the time. People that don't be having no talent at all be all like,
Okay.
why he didn't do backflips with, what? Sit your ass down.
Please, immediately.
You know,
I really would like to see what it is that people are upset about, because I don't understand. What were you expecting that you did not get? Did he give us vocals? Yes. Did he give us visions? Yes. Did he give us other talent? Yes. Like, what did he not do?
shout
I
out
just think
to
it's funny because
shout out to the Oompa Loompa himself, JD. Shout out to Little John. Shout out
now
to
wait. Question: What was JD
He
wearing?
was an Oompa Loompa.
Because that threw me off. I'm all like, getting into it.
But wait.
Wearing?
Like I said, I was like, why is Jermaine Dupri in these extra long tuxedo shorts? I didn't even see the socks until later.
No, the socks was crazy. That made me think of like a doll outfit. Like he just straight up stole that off of a porcelain doll.
So on behalf of the Libra delegation, okay, I want everybody out there to know that number one, Usher is 44. He'll be 45 this year. So please don't let's not speed him up, because he's a year older than me. Oh my God. On behalf of the Libra delegation, we try our best to make everybody happy, and there comes a point in your life, as Beyonce said, once you turn 40, you stop giving a fuck, and you do what you've been wanting to do your whole life. I saw something that he said when he was interviewed by Gail, how he's never been on the Grammy stage to actually give his thank yous to everyone, because every Grammy he's ever won has never been televised. I think that people are ungrateful, people are dumb, and people need to sit down, because they've done this for everybody. They did this with Rihanna, with her pregnant ass going all the way up 3 million feet in the air. If it's not, I don't know, up to whatever these imaginary standards that people have. And don't forget that these are humans. They're actually, this is like the biggest stage. And I'm here for it. Now, I will admit, it will be me. Because I originally watched it with my uncle, my aunt, and my aunt's mother, who is hilarious, by the way. This 80, almost 90-year-old woman was just like, I just wanted to see him take his shirt off and put on them skates.
And did. And he did.
And did.
Give everybody what they wanted, which is I don't understand why anybody has anything negative to say.
I don't know if he gave everybody what he wanted, because my uncle was yo, what's up with all this red, man? What's up with all this blue, man? Yo, why he got to take his shirt off, man? I mean, like, and my uncle too is part of the Libra delegation. But it's just like, here's the thing, like, I think that Usher did an amazing job. And shout out to they call me USHER.
I know that's right. You better mess up that sign language, because I don't know what the hell that was.
You're gonna start throwing up gang signs, and they gonna come after you. Do it right. Do it right.
What about you, Lakiah? How'd you feel about it?
I enjoyed it. I'm just that person that if somebody can do something that I can't, like, and if they've been doing it for a really long time, well, like, I just sit back, like, because like you said, like, not everything doesn't have to be perfect, but I think a lot of people just are very unhappy in themselves.
Yes.
Not everybody,
Amen.
Yes.
Say it again for the whole.
You was right the first time. We'll go with the first answer.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of people are unhappy with their lives, and it's like there's nothing much going on. So I mean, and like somebody has said, like, they do this every year, every single year. Like, I don't know what they expected Rihanna to do last year. Like, she was pregnant. What else did you want? With
Give
Usher,
birth. How come we didn't see your birth?
People got a whole lot to say about Rihanna.
She gave birth. How come she didn't eat the afterbirth? Like,
they got so much to say about Rihanna's performance, but it was the most watched Super Bowl halftime performance in history.
It was, and this man had a whole performance. So, like, when he came out with the rollerblades, they did a whole choreography. They wasn't just like skating around like they did. They were dancing in rollerblades. Like, I can't do that. So
he literally took like his Vegas residency and dropped it in the middle of
Mhm.
Allegiant Stadium.
and just
Yeah.
shrunk it. So what I was saying was, I didn't get to enjoy it the way I wanted to because people were talking, and I was just like, we all like be. Shh. If you're not going to be like, yeah, shh, I don't want to hear you comment. I don't want to hear your commentary. But I sure enough did watch it 7 times when I got home, and it gave me everything that I needed. Could it have given me a little bit more? Maybe, but
Like what?
What would you
What
want?
more were you wanting?
I don't know. I'm not saying this like he didn't do his job. I'm not saying it. I know I'm putting my foot in my mouth. My toes taste great, but
Blair, he's one of them.
I'm just what I mean by it is when I say could he give me a little bit more. No, actually, he couldn't. No,
Exactly.
I'm double
I
Think
back.
feel
it
like
through.
right. This
And,
is
th- and
what I'm.
this
This is why. This is
and
my
this is
point.
exactly what I need people to
Exactly.
do before they get online with their X fingers or their Twitter fingers or whatever they're going to call it. Think the thought through all the way. Just think it all the way through.
Amen.
I mean, what was he?
That's all.
What y'all want him to do? Fly in like
This is what I'm
everybody?
saying. Like,
And so what it is because we've gotten so used to people being up in the air. They think everybody needs to be in the air.
There were people in the air.
I don't
No,
even.
for
I don't
him.
even know if it's for that. I don't even know if it was specifically that. I think there's a culture that's out there of people who are very much so like, oh, he could have did or she could have did so much better, and you're just sitting there like,
I mean,
what
the
could
only
she have
thing that we
done?
can talk about is some people, and that's it. That's it. And the Oompa Loompa that was with him.
She looked amazing, by
She
the
looks
way.
fan. Oh
She
my
did.
god,
She did.
Looked,
She did.
like
and
Look
and
at
She
her.
was
She
her
looked
good.
natural,
amazing.
she looked amazing with her natural
good.
body.
Yeah.
Shout out to all the ladies.
And then Luda
But
and fucking Little John, yes, to all of it.
first of all, when did Little John get all muscular?
I know.
Little John's been in the gym pumping little weights, okay?
Come on, big.
Little John with little weights.
That's the work of some 10s and some 15s, honey, okay?
Blink Fitness, count your motherfucking days.
Well, we have okay. So as many of you guys know, that our podcast, one of the foundational pieces for our podcast is about mental health and wellness, and about this is a new year. This is our third episode of the new year, or is it the second episode? Third episode of the new year. Third. And because we take Lakiah, we take January off as a self-care for us.
For reparations.
Okay. And so we need to reset ourselves. Everybody tries to hit the ground running January 1st. And, sometimes it's okay to just take a step back. And what drew me to you was like, this is the part about social media I do adore, that it does bring people or bring certain content to you that you may need to see or hear in the moment. And it was in reference to like the positivity, because I am a positivity warrior, but sometimes that positivity stuff doesn't
Come on, titties.
We're gonna add that to the book. Sometimes the positiviness, sometimes it just being happy and shit.
Thank you. Simplify.
So, I really enjoyed, and as I scrolled through the rest of your page and saw that number one, you, Black Power, hey sister, okay, you're a gorgeous sister, and you are here, and you speak so eloquent, and you're so well spoken, and no, but not that, but like it was just something about the message that you were providing. I think it's a message that we speak a lot about mental health, but we don't really speak about these certain portions that you really focus on. So I really wanted to like get your input and then add you to the family.
Oh, okay. Well, I am honored. I'm honored by that.
Continue doing what you are doing. That's what I'll say.
Thank you.
Number one, what does self-care mean to you?
So I think of self-care as a way of being, like an action, like it's a verb. So it's like making choices that basically align with what you value, like what's important to you. So that's basically how I think of it. I'm sure there's a Webster's dictionary version of it, but I don't know that right now.
What about the urban baby? Let's bring her cousin out.
The urban one is doing the shit you need to do to take care of yourself first. Like that that's what I would
Okay.
say to people, like, putting yourself first. And I remember, I don't know if I put it on my Instagram or not, but I made a video about, like, put yourself first. Your kids should not come first. Your spouse should not come first. Your family should not come first. And that struck a nerve with a lot of people, because
Hmm.
when you say that, instantly everybody thinks like, oh, you have to be like really self-absorbed, not care about anybody else. Like, I'm not saying damn them kids. I'm saying when you are your
Yes.
best self, you can
Mhm.
show up for the people and in your life that you care about better. You can show up for, your career or whatever better once you take care of yourself first. Because if you just self-care is about giving the best of yourself, not what's left of yourself.
It's so interesting that
Mm.
people have such an issue with the idea of prioritizing yourself, but then like when you explain it to them in the means of like, well, you can't take care of others unless you yourself are taken care of. You can't pour from an empty cup. Like you, it's interesting that like you have to like really like break it down to people like that in order for people to even like start somewhat getting it. And it was interesting to me before, like when you were saying that, us historically as Black people have been very neglectful when it comes to self-care and mental health, and how we've always kind of like said that that wasn't something that like we should focus on. And I started thinking about like why that is. And a lot of it is connected to like, like our grandmothers and our great grandmothers, oh, you don't need church, you need Jesus, you know? Because for the longest time, that's all we as Black people had, like, was our faith, to be able to get us through these difficult, tangible situations, aka slavery.
Mm.
Like, that was really like the only thing that people could like be able to call on to get them through like that difficult thing. But that difficult thing was an external thing. Like it was something that you could actually like see was the problem. But now that we don't necessarily we have other, tangible obstacles, but now that they're not so like obvious like that, and a lot of like the battles are internal, like that's why I think historically that's why we as Black people have had issues with being able to like find another focus or outlet to be able to address those things, and why the default has always been, well, you just need Jesus. Well, yes, I'm a proud Christian woman. Yes, you need Jesus, but you need Jesus and okay, you need
Right.
Jesus and a therapist. Okay, like there's nothing wrong with that, but I just thought that that was interesting, and I appreciate people like you who are really like pushing like the mental health narrative out there, especially to people of color.
Yeah, I love that. The whole ands, like, why it doesn't have to be either or. Like, and is
Mhm.
very good. Like, give it all to me. Like, I want it all. Like, you don't have to choose.
Amen.
People, what?
I cannot leave this woman alone.
Don't say anymore
Damn.
in the episode.
Let me ask you something though. Like one of my so I was going through your website,
Mhm.
and I think one of the more interesting articles that I saw, which was along kind of like the lines that Blair started to touch on, one of the more interesting articles that I was reading was the how to crush your cognitive distortions and reclaim your joy.
Mm,
Mm.
touch to
Can
go.
you can you talk about that a little bit more? Because I think, and I've said this before, I think a lot of times when we're in this, when we're in our mental headspace and we're trying to find our way out, only we can do that. And sometimes I feel like we don't know where to start, right? Like we have
Right.
past traumas that we're dealing with. We have, insecurities. We feel like you feel you could be the prettiest person in the world, but I feel ugly, and people, and that takes away from like your shine. So can you maybe like talk about that a little bit more, like some of the things that people should be looking at when they're talking about self-care?
Yeah. So cognitive distortions is just thoughts. So I call them thought errors. I put that as the title, cognitive distortions. Like that's like the, I guess, the psychological term, I guess. But But they're just thought errors. So they're basically ways of everybody has these. So like you were saying, like everybody has these that these thoughts that just pop up in your head. They're not necessarily true, but they're just you've gotten into the habit of thinking them over and over again. Like you've been feeding your brain these messages over and over again. So where it's you start to believe it, like it becomes you, and you start to identify with it. But the thing about our brain is that it likes patterns, it likes consistency, and it will create shortcuts for whatever it is we are giving it. So like that's how things become automatic. That's how we, create habits. The thing about it is that we can change that to thoughts that, are nicer to us, thoughts that are like more beneficial and that actually help us get things done, feel better about ourselves. So becoming aware of the thought errors or the cognitive distortions, like that is like the first step. Like you have to become aware of it, because if you don't know there's a problem, like you're not gonna do anything about it. So like there's different ones. So one of them is like jump into conclusions. So that's basically like you're interpreting something, like something that somebody said, like you just assume what they mean, but you have no like basis of evidence for like that's what they mean. Like you just assume that person, I don't know, got their arms crossed because they got an attitude, but they might just be cold. You don't know, but you're jumping to conclusions. Or what's another one? Like mind reading. Like I know what you're thinking. It's like, no, you don't. You don't. You may know, you may have known this person for a long time, but we do not know where people are at. So the reason that I think a lot of people they think that their minds are like working against them. It's just because they haven't figured out that first of all, your mind it's your best friend. Actually, it can work. Y'all can work together. You and your brain can work together. But you
Imagine
just got
that.
to be aware of it. You
Say
just
it
got to be aware of the
again.
habits that you have.
Right.
Your mind can be your best friend. It really can. That's why you need to talk to yourself and be like, hey, like where did I get this from? So like if you think you ugly, where did I get this from? Like this
Thank
thought,
you.
this belief you have is probably not even
Hmm.
yours. It's probably something that you've heard other people say. It's probably something that you have seen from whoever
Hmm.
raised you. Like it's not yours. So like,
Hmm.
but you have to start questioning it. So talk to yourself and be like, where did this thought come from? You
Ladies and
know?
gentlemen, I want you
So
to understand that a psychotherapist just really said it's okay to talk to yourself.
I was
I
about to say
did.
all the people out there
Talk
right now that talk to themselves
to
like, I knew it.
yourself.
I
Do
knew
And,
it.
it.
I say this like like when people are like, oh, you talking to yourself is when you answer yourself. No, when you answer yourself, that's when the answers come because you are actually talking to yourself. Yes,
As long
it's
as you don't think it's coming from somebody else, the
that's the
voice
part.
isn't somebody
That's where
else.
they leave that out.
That's the problem.
Oh, oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Stop looking at me. But not a lot of people understand what it really means to try mindfulness. Can you explain a
Mhm.
little bit of what that really means, like what, or like a tip for how can people can be mindful and how that can actually help them?
So everybody is good at mindfulness. Okay. So I'm the type of therapist, I'll give it to you straight. Like you are already very good at mindfulness. If you have worried about anything, you're good at mindfulness and meditation. So, the way that I think about mindfulness is just about paying attention on purpose. So, mindfulness is just our ability to be fully present and aware of where we are and what we're doing. But when you're doing, mindfulness in a way of like, reducing stress and anxiety and all of that, like it's where you're being present, but you're not overly reactive and you're not like overwhelmed by what's going on around you. And like I said, meditation is like a form of mindfulness, but a lot of people kind of are pushed off by it because they think they have to sit still for 2 hours a day, and it's like that's not it.
Nam
um
yaho renge kyo, nam yaho renge kyo.
you can't do that, but
You
yeah, it's just
can.
about you really can, but it's just about what you focus on, what you pay attention to on purpose. So worrying is the opposite. It's like being mindful in the negative sense, but mindfulness, like when you are wanting to calm yourself down and create a better mental and emotional space for yourself, it's just about being aware of what you're doing. Like, what thoughts am I entertaining right now? Like, why, like what is going on? How am I interpreting what's going on right now? And is it benefiting me? Benefits can go from anything from like, of course, like having better focus and concentration. It improves your memory. Of course, reduces stress and anxiety and depression, the symptoms associated with that. But it also, especially if we're talking about, Black people and like generational trauma and things
That's
like
all we're
that.
talking about as Black people.
Right. Right. So mindfulness it activates the front part of your brain. And that part of your brain is associated with how you adapt to like stressful or negative situations. So it can help you to basically be less likely to be triggered by upsetting things usually. So like when you get in the habit of mindfulness, it helps you do that. It has physical health benefits too. Like improving your immune system and all of that goes into like how you reduce cortisol. Cortisol is like one of the stress hormones that we have in our bodies. We need it. I tell people that too, like, don't be shocked, but you need stress and anxiety to stay alive. You just don't need it to build up and be chronically, secreted in your body. That's when it becomes a problem because, we need like that stress response so we can like, you know, push on the brakes when we need to real fast to avoid an accident.
But when you have a client who is in constant fight or flight mode, in constant um like worry mode, they're anxious. They're not taking a moment to take a step back. What are some of the tips that you may say to them that might help them just say, "Hey, shut the fuck up." No, not say, but don't say that.
In a nicer
Unless you
way.
do.
Be nice
In a more productive way.
Just a little.
and professional.
There's a therapeutic way to say everything. Um,
Okay.
I it's basically what you said. Like pause. You were saying it when you were tripping over your words, but literally pause.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'd never trip over the word. Oh, I fell. Hold, go ahead. Go ahead.
Wow.
I was gonna say, let's not get to lying here.
Proceed, Lakiah.
But it's just pausing and breath work. So taking deep breaths. So one of the tips that I give anybody is to just stop. Like, please just stop and then take a breath. Because when we breathe in, like doing like deep diaphragmatic breathing, it's basically it sends a message to our brain that we are safe. So that's just the basic way that I undertake long deep breaths. So one of my favorite breath works exercises is
Can we do it?
box breathing.
Can
Yeah,
we?
we can do it. We can do it. So it's box breathing.
All right.
What you're doing is you're visualizing a box kind of, being completed. And for you can close your eyes or keep them open. It doesn't
All
matter.
right.
All
Everybody
you
So
close
what?
their eyes.
every listener out there,
Yeah.
close your eyes at this moment.
Close your eyes now.
And what you're going to do is you are going to just scan your body really quick. Start from your feet. Just notice the feeling from your feet up your legs, your stomach, shoulders, arms, neck, jaw. Try and release anything that you feel kind of tense. You're going to take a deep breath in through the nose, hold it, and then breathe out through the mouth, and then hold that breath out. So you're going to I'm going to count to 4 when we're breathing in through our nose. And then while we're holding, I'm going to count to 4. And then when we're breathing out through our mouth, I'm going to count to 6. Okay. And then we're going to hold that breath out for another count of 4. So 4, 4, 6, 4, just so everybody stays with me. Okay. So take a long, deep breath in through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold that breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slowly breathe it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now hold that breath out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Take one more deep breath in through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slowly breathe out through your mouth. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold that breath out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, one last deep breath in through your nose. 2, 3, 4. Hold that breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slowly breathe out through your mouth. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold that breath out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now breathe normally. It's an exercise. It is.
I'm sorry for everybody who I just breathed all up in your ear.
Or another thing I do, I call it I Spy. Or some people call it the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method. So you're looking around your environment. Notice 5 things you can see, 4 things you can feel, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, one thing you can taste. So when we're anxious, we're basically just kind of just stuck in our heads, but we have to get our attention off of the thoughts for a second in order to like regulate our nervous system and calm ourselves down. Get out of your head, get into your body, and pay attention to your environment.
That's great. 'Cause that teaches you how to be present in the moment.
Mhm.
Correct.
And how to be observant about your
Mhm.
Yeah.
surroundings.
Baby, listen, you better be observant here in New York. But
Mm.
I-
That's actually really good. I'm glad that you did that exercise with us. I think just speaking from experience from the anxiety that I have had in my 39 years of life, I noticed that sometimes we want to give answers faster than we are thinking. And so that's where sometimes where we trip on our own words because we're trying to satisfy or meet a need or a want or whatever it is. And as I get older, I see that I take those couple extra seconds to do some of that breathing. Maybe not as formal as what we just did just now, but instead of just giving an answer immediately, it's more so of a thought for 2 seconds, breathe out. It's not like, it's not life changing in terms of like the immediate in terms of what you need to do, but it is a difference because now you can give an answer that is succinct, that is more on par with whatever the topic is. I know that I do it more so when I'm at work because I'm a manager, so I have to kind of make sure that everybody's on the same page, and I'm applying that to the entertainment world as well because it's not that big of a difference. So I think if we just take that time, you are better for it.
Mhm.
Right. And taking a minute to say, instead of like, what do I need to do right now? Like, what do I need? What do I need right now? Like, just making that little change helped me a lot with my anxiety. Like I've had panic attacks before, like, so like that, it's not fun. But it does happen. And another reason why I talk a lot about this on social media is because we have to get to a place where we accept that we will become anxious, that we will become frustrated, that we will become angry, we will become embarrassed, or I don't know, ashamed, disappointed. Like every emotion that we have, it has a purpose. Like there's a message that is trying to send us, and there's a need that's not getting met. So if we spend our entire lives just like, oh no, 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 positive vibes only, like I can't deal with this. Like you're not letting the emotion do what it needs to do that can probably lead you towards whatever, answer you need or the solution to whatever problem that you're having. It's because you're not paying attention to the message that your emotion is sending you. So yeah, like just make little changes. That's what
you
helps you to, not become overwhelmed.
you better set up a segue. Okay, you you've done this before, so like it's we do this all of us do this, and we have all experienced those who do it probably more than others. And I think that, in my opinion, I feel like you're cheating yourself out of life if you're only focused and only worried about like positive energy, positive energy, positive energy. That negative energy, we're all still batteries. We need the positive as well as the negative. It's just what you paid attention to.
Okay, come on, Duracell.
But no.
Actually, I'm an Energizer bunny. I keep going and going and
Co-
going and going.
Energizer.
Sorry, wait.
I can't.
How many minutes in the episode? Okay, good. But I mean, like, when you deal with people who deal with and only want positive vibes. Now I'm doing air quotations. How do you feel in your professional opinion that is it serving a disservice to you? And if it is, what are the reasons why should people keep why do people mix this up? Or
hmm Yeah. So positivity in itself is not wrong. There's nothing wrong with positivity. What is the problem is when we are, I don't know, like I don't know what the word would be. It's basically when we're neglecting all of the other emotions that we naturally have. Um, that's the issue. That's what I think is a detriment to us when we're ignoring all of the other emotions that we have. Positivity has its place because it can help us to like reprogram or basically like reframe. So when we were talking about cognitive distortions, the thought errors, like, yeah, like you can be positive to, reprogram the habit of thought that you usually have that causes you the stress or the anxiety. Like, that's, yeah, positivity, use that. But like when you are in a moment of frustration or a moment of fear or a moment of whatever it is, like that's saying something to you. Like anger, for example, it pushes you to fight back and protect yourself. Fear, it brings you the energy and the motivation to protect yourself. When you are feeling, I don't know, let's just say anxiety, for example. Like anxiety is built to, like energize you enough to prepare or manage or handle something. So we can think of this in a literal way, like, running away from a bear, or we can think about this in a way of, uh, this is gonna make me so anxious to be around all these people because small talk, ugh, like, so your brain will respond in the same way to try and handle it. If you're feeling frustrated, like that emotion is telling you to try something different. But again, if you don't give all of those emotions a chance
Mm.
to lead you in the direction that you need to go, like that is when you get emotionally constipated. you know
Hmm.
and
You gotta
also
take some Metamucil, babe.
what I mean by emotionally constipated is that, like, it will again stress you out. Like stress builds up in our body in a way that it has to express itself. It has to express itself in some sort of way when we get stressed, right? So our body goes to work doing a whole bunch of things, whether we're running away from a bear, trying to avoid a car accident, or getting into an argument with someone. Like our body will have these natural reactions. Um, a whole bunch of things, like our lungs will expand so we can breathe better, our eyes dilate so we can see better, like blood goes to certain places so we can be able to move, adrenaline and cortisol get flooded, so we can have all that energy to either fight or flight, run away from something.
Mhm.
And that does, it just works in that way. So when it comes to using positivity, like you got to get that system basically shut down, that whole stress response first, and then use positivity. So whether you want to use the affirmations or not, that's fine. But if you are really, really anxious and you just instantly jump into like, oh no, I am the happiest I have ever been. Like everything is just going great and fine when it's obviously not. Like you just downing yourself, like you gaslighting yourself. You're
Mhm.
bullying yourself. And it doesn't mean that you have to, sit and wallow in the anxiety. I think that's what a lot of people are afraid of. Thinking they mistake accepting that your emotion is happening for suffering with it, and that those two totally different things. Those are not the same thing. So when you process an emotion, like you're just letting it release. You got to let it go through a cycle. Like we human beings, we have an emotional cycle. But again, if you just want to smother it with positivity without processing it, it'll just cause you more problems. So when you do use positivity, like don't jump to the far right or far left with it. Pick something that's more realistic and like where you have less resistance to it. Like you don't have to lie to yourself to be positive. You
Like,
really
I
don't.
think we're so caught up in like this whole, like I got to be positive all the time mentality, but like what is that really doing for us? Because we're denying what's actually like reality, what's actually happening like in front of us, and avoidance is just as bad.
It
So,
is. It is. And it's based on people not wanting to feel uncomfortable and not knowing what to do with it. We don't we don't like discomfort. We don't like that. So it's easier to think that any emotion other than happiness, excitement, or joy is just wrong or bad in some way. We can probably even trace this back to childhood, like even when we were little, like how many of y'all like, heard the phrase like stop crying or I'll give you something to cry about.
Every
yeah,
black person known to
Fix your
man.
face.
Oh boy, trauma.
Like so we
the flashback. Woo.
we are
Whew.
socially conditioned to, like, if
Mm.
I don't show that I am okay to these people, then that's wrong somehow. So we kind of develop that into our adult
That's a
years.
great
That
way.
shows
That's
up
a
in
great
our
way to
adult
think about it.
years.
It's
I think,
go ahead, Chris.
go ahead, go ahead.
No, you started talking before I did.
I was just gonna say, I think people are also concerned about worsening it. I think I have felt that before in the past where I said I didn't want to say the wrong things because I didn't want to make a situation worse than what it already is. But I find myself these days um, doing kind of some of the examples that you said, Blair, like just being realistic because there's nothing that you can do to kind of reverse the way that certain things have transpired, right? At work, there's quite a few people who recently lost a few loved ones, and they're there at work, and I hug them. I'm like, oh, we were just talking about this, blah 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 blah. Let me know if you need anything, because what do you say? And it's not to say that it's gonna be okay when somebody just, for example, lost their mother. How that's not a you can never you'll never really be fully okay with that, right? Because that's somebody that you love, that you have that you grew up with, that raised you, so but saying that you're going to be there for them and help them out will help kind of like dim that feeling or numb that feeling, and you grow bigger and you grow around that.
Grow around
So
it. I love that you said that because it's
yeah,
not our job to save people from their feelings. Like you're not helping those
right.
people by trying to like, I don't know, get them out of their grief, or let's hurry up and get you out of this grief. Like that's not helping them at all. Like support them. Like ask them if you don't know, just ask. Like, how can I support you? Like if you want to set healthy boundaries that stick long term, you need communication and action. A lot of people miss the action part because they're don't want to be uncomfortable. They don't want to like hurt the other person, or they don't want to burn bridges and things like that. But you have to put action to it. Okay. So what I mean by action is you have to enforce the boundary that you set. So constantly telling somebody something like, yeah, I've told you that I don't like this, and when you do this, I don't like that, or whatever it is. Whatever you have told them and they're still doing it is because there hasn't been a consequence attached to it,
Mm-hmm.
that you weren't
Mm,
standing on business about it, so they didn't take it seriously.
Stand on
And
mm,
business.
mm,
Mm.
preach, preacher.
and
Oh,
it's
now.
and it's not because all people, like, we're just talking about toxic people. So toxic people, we'll just keep it with that example. A toxic person most likely isn't going to care, that you said, you would rather them not do this, or you'd rather them do that. They're obviously not going to care. So the action part is what is most important with them. So it can be as simple as just saying, like, no, like I've already said no, that answer is not going to change. You can stop asking. And being assertive instead of aggressive. So when you're being assertive, like you're being really straightforward, saying what you mean and meaning what you say. Don't
With your
don't try and
chest.
with
All
your
the way out.
whole chest, and have an understanding that boundaries are to protect you. They're not to hurt the other person. So, get that out of your head. A lot of people feel a lot of guilt around setting boundaries, especially with, people that they've known for a long time. But let's be honest, we all got toxic, there's people with toxic traits that are really close to us, like family, So, and sometimes you can't necessarily get away from them, but you can limit their access to you. But again, that all comes with your commitment to enforcing it. Like your boundary is only as good as your willingness to enforce it. So if you don't enforce it, then you won't see a
Mhm.
change.
It's
Mm.
very interesting that like I know I have issues with like setting boundaries, but then I think that like other people have, people take boundaries offensively, like they feel like, why do you have to set up a boundary with me? Or like, and they take them offensively and they take them personally.
I hate
It's
that so
not like
much.
this could just be a boundary that I have that's in general. It applies to everybody. And I'm sorry if you feel like you should be accepted from the rule, but you're not.
I hate
Especially when they
that
don't listen, they
so
continue.
I hate that so much for everybody, but now that you just said it, Blair, because people want to have access, and I hate that
And they want you to
because
make exceptions for them.
right, and that's what it all boils down to. Why can't well I'm different. No, you're not. The circle is full.
Thank you.
The
The
end.
server is full.
And even if you are different, you don't automatically get that access to me. You need to prove to me that you deserve to have that kind of access. If I feel like you have proven to me that I can make an exception for you, then I can consider making an exception for you. But for you to think that you just like get that like off the riff, like you ain't special, what'd you do?
But I've told you before that people have said stuff like that to me before, where it's like, oh, but I saw you hanging out with your friends. You mean my best friend? You mean my family? You mean them?
You mean my
Like, come on.
choice, my friends,
Like
my time? Yeah.
weirdness.
Goodbye. But I think that the great thing about this, and I will say that especially the great thing about this podcast, especially like as we've done this for so long, and we each have gotten closer, and we each, funny story, Lakiah. So the three of us, originally four, didn't know each other the first day we started recording this podcast.
Oh, wow.
And so everyone is an extension of myself. They're friends of mine or people that I've met externally, and then we just grew closer and closer and closer. You would never tell if you listened to our first
could not
episode.
tell.
But also the thing is that we each had to learn our individual boundaries. Like, I'm the one who pushes boundaries. I admit it, and I've done a much better because I've learned to, as I've gotten older, I've learned how to respect people's boundaries if I want them to respect mine. And I used to be the person that Chris was saying, I'm different. No, you ain't, nigga. You a different person, but you ain't different from what I'm trying to say. So I think that there is growth that comes from people who can take the time. Growth. All of my friends are thriving abundantly. There's so many different things that can come from when people take the time to actually learn your boundaries, learn how to respect your boundaries, and then give you the time that you need to deal with all of this stuff because they've been mindful, okay, about your self-care routines. And let me try to throw anything else we talked about. No, because some people want it all, but they can't have it. Okay.
I knew you was a liar. I always knew you were a liar.
Just speaking, from your perspective, if you want the listening audience to walk away like with one thought or something that you want them to continue to think about and maybe have like a conversation with their therapist on, or just something for them to continue to keep present in their mind, like what would you want them to walk away from this conversation with?
I would say I'll just leave them with the 3 R's and I mentioned this
See,
in
and I knew
my
she was gonna have something prophetic. Yes.
I was gonna do
Sorry.
the 3 R's
Three
because a lot of
R's.
people like this for some reason, especially on a video that kind of went viral. I didn't know why people connected with it so much, but everybody likes it.
Because people do. Stop
People
shitting
need what
yourself.
they need, and you're here to give
Give
it
it
to
to
them.
us. Give it to us.
So the 3 R's is recognize, regulate, reframe. Okay. So recognize the emotion that you're having. Recognize what it's trying to tell you. Okay. Regulate your nervous system with mindfulness, breath work, dancing. I don't know, have an orgasm, something like
Baby,
Listen,
you
wait,
talk about
okay.
language now.
You done brought you done opened up the box now.
Well, hello. Hey guys.
We always talk here on the Highly Melanated podcast. We always talk about orgasms.
Let this woman finish.
y'all kill me. I love it. I love
Wait,
it.
what did Samira say before back one day? You better have an orgasm. So did
I
Tim.
mean, it's helpful. It helps to clear the mind.
Helps.
It helps to clear the mind. It does.
Don't get me started.
Proceed,
We could be on
proceed.
here a whole nother hour talking about the science behind it, but
We can, but we can't.
We can.
we can. The last
Tune
one
in
is
for part 2.
reframe. Last one is reframe. Oh yes, part 2. Yes. Reframe. So change the negative thoughts. I say kill the ants. So an ant is an automatic negative thought. So a lot of letters.
Okay.
But,
Okay.
there's basically like shifting your perspective on the situation. What am I putting my attention into? Just start thinking of your attention as money. That shit's expensive. So be careful what you spend it on. So yeah, recognize, regulate, reframe.
I love it. I love it. Wow.
I just do it. There was something in my spirit I had woke up that morning, I was taking a boo boo, and I said, let's go ahead and scroll. And I said, ooh, this is just helping me this is release. This is good. Amen.
I
Thank
love
you. That was
y'all.
That
amazing.
was.
Look, hi, do you have any social media or anything that you would like to share or anything you want to promote?
Oh, sure. I mean, y'all can, I mean, a
Where
couple
can
of you
where
already
can everybody
mentioned.
find you?
Yeah, so you all kind of mentioned my blog is Selfcare Blogic, Blogic.com. I just made a new blog on there today, actually, about how, how to practice self-love in this season. Um, I also have a free guide, like it's called the Stress Less Checklist. So that I go over like how stress shows up in your body. There's a self-care tracker in there. There's some reflection questions. So like when it comes to like reframing your thoughts and like just pausing, like there's questions to ask yourself in there. So you all can get that. The easiest way is on social media. So I'm on IG and TikTok as Self-Care Blogic. So you can find me there. And I have a self-care starter kit that basically gives you the basics of how to regulate your nervous system. I have an abundant mental health ebook that tells you about that's mostly about the boundaries, but also about how to improve your wellness in different areas. Like there's different types of boundaries that you need to set. And we talk about therapy, like what to expect from a therapy session so you get the best results. Like, questions you need to ask and consider for a therapist that you have, because not every therapist is going to be for you, and that's okay. So
Mhm.
yeah, I talk about
Mhm.
that, and you can get all of that, and it's all in the link in my bio. So um, on my you can get to it from my blog, but also on my social media pages. The link that's in the bio there.
Where can people get the ebook?
So it's all in the same link. So the link it'll say stan.store/mental abundance. But the easiest way is just to, that's why I says like just go into my IG page or my TikTok page, and then at the top where my bio is, the link will be there and you can just click on it and you can get all of the stuff, the free guide, there's a link to show you to my blog and the self-care starter kit, the ebook, the abundant mental health ebook, all of that.
If it's for free,
It's
It's
for
for
It's
me.
for me.
but we still need to support. Okay, so not everything needs to be free, and it is.
Exactly. Well, here's the thing. If it's for free, it's for me, but you also get what you pay for. So
Amen. Amen.
true
Amen.
statement. The true
sometimes you
Okay.
need
statement.
to put some dollars. Sometimes you need to invest in yourself.
I have
Okay.
it set up. Purchased a whole place as I'm purchasing it right now. No, we support here at Highly Melanated. That's what we do.
Oh, thank
Absolutely.
you so
No, for
much.
real. I really appreciate. Hold on, not me doing it while I'm doing it. Let's be in the moment for a second.
Just hold on.
Let's
Hold
be
on a
in the
second.
moment. Take a breath.
Be
Breathe
mentally
in,
present.
breathe out. Hold it. Breathe in.
Thank you again for coming. Thank you for being a guest. You are welcome. What's your favorite number from one through 10?
Oh, jeez. 7.
All right, so you are on the seventh floor. Here is your key. Just letting you know. Okay, we're getting it cut. But your floor is waiting for you. You have your own wing of the Melanated Manor. It's for you. It's freshly furnished, so you're all good. If you need to do some color changes, reach out to Chris because he'll do that for you. And that's what it is. I'll set up the music, and Blair will set up like the aromas, the food, the snacks, and all the great things that we'll have there
Okay.
for you.
Okay.
But we like this is an open invitation whenever you want to come back on and speak about anything else you want to, or I reach out to you, or one of us will reach out to you. But you are more than welcome to
Yes,
come back here.
absolutely.
He's
Welcome to
in.
Thank
Thank
you all
you.
so, so much. I really enjoyed myself. Thank you all for this.
You.
Good.
Thank
Thank
the
you
best
so
care.
much. So
And on that note, guys, thank you for taking the time to listen to another episode of Highly Motherfucking Melanated, the safe space where it's okay
Don't do it.
much.
to one and all. I'll just say it. No, the safe space where it is okay to recognize, regulate, and refrain. You fill in the blanks. You take care of yourself, and stop pushing your shit on other people. And no, I don't want to be your ambassador for your clothing line.
Thank you.
You can follow us on all forms of social media that we are part of, such as Instagram and TikTok. That is Highly Melanated Podcast.
You can always email us at highlymelanatedpodcast@gmail.com.
Or you can come on over to Twitter, now known as X. I'm really stuck on this. Come on over and have some orgasms at H_melanatedpod.
I mean, they do work wonders.
I was about to say, they work.
Okay, hold please.
Why ruin the formula?
On that note, guys, thank you. Peace, love, and
some people
right. You just
want it all. That's fine.
No.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
No, it is not, because I want to make
really?
love in this club.
Hey.
In this club.
Hey.
Yes.